looking at 800,000 utilizing
All right. Okay, thanks, Grant.
some of their revenue to shore that up and still have a deficit, so
Yeah, what we have here is actually really not that bad.
it's not that bad.
I think-
But you,
Yeah.
if you look at the trend and you look at the underlying principles for the future, then that's bad.
Well, yeah, we're not really addressing those, and we can't. And the other thing is that some of those assumptions are based on Obamacare staying in effect, or not being amended or changed, but not in the tax of those. Yeah, that's one of the constructs,
Right.
potentially. So on and so forth. So there's a lot of assumptions that we can't control.
Right.
Well, everything we can't control.
Yeah, I'm really afraid, looking at expenditures every week, I just see so many, I just have this fear that we have a lot more costs as not only state and state
Chris.
organizations have the same problem that we do, then they push that deficit on down to us somehow.
gonna
And
get
it's
worse and
not
worse and worse.
only, it's even like Crescent, it's all those
What do you think about taking forestry out of service?
municipal government.
tiny bit
But
more.
it's, yeah, just a tiny
Did
bit.
you let Crescent know?
Oh, yeah, this was a funded mandate, now it's unfunded.
Yeah,
There you go. Yeah.
Well,
We're gonna pick
I-
up a
No, it's understaffed.
quickly.
of course.
Yeah, just take that service.
So
All
much
right,
for
thanks.
805. You're gonna stick it out, Martha?
Yes.
See the numbers dwindling.
They're all out calling home, telling them keep the dinner warm.
There's that little guy from the cruise ship who calls everybody for dinner.
I have a triangle at home. Shall I bring my triangle next time? We're gonna have another long meeting.
Your triangle, what?
He was talking about a dinner bell, like on a cruise ship, to get everybody back in.
I don't know.
All right, you can be quiet.
I understand. And then there's everything. Sorry about the long.
First, something about.
I always miss Monday nights.
I wish I could remember the exact quote, but.
Yeah.
Has to do with,
We're elected
listen, the ability to listen.
We have our Boy Scout
first,
meeting on Monday
to
night.
really sit and listen to what's going on,
Yeah.
then absorb it, and then react.
No.
I hate
But I do a
getting
lot for
reactions,
the-
so I don't want to do
We've got at least
that.
4 council members here, we're gonna get started again. See if you can get out of the room fast enough. The good news is we're almost halfway through, the better news is that the second half should go a lot quicker than the first one. Should. Jen, you're back on.
All right. We are at utility funds. We have updated these numbers based on the FCS report on slide 30 and are anticipating the rate increases being approved. Again, this is going to be a topic of discussion on November 8th, so we didn't want to get into a lot of detail on this tonight. Certainly, we'll have a whole session devoted to it. We'll move on. Other funds. We have discussed this one enough, I think, unless anyone has any further comments. We're just gonna skip over these 2 slides, talking about the ER&R. Again, for your information, the anticipated structure of the fund. The only thing I do wanna point out is the utility fund is still to be determined. The numbers included are just general fund purchases. The rate study by FCS did include ER&R type purchases for trucks and that sort of thing. We just haven't gotten to a position to where we can include that yet to determine if we're gonna include it in the same fund, have its own separate fund, those sorts of questions. So until we had that part figured out, we didn't wanna bring that forward.
And if anybody needs the rolling stock general fund, 403,000 for 2011, we got a detailed sheet that gave you what those individual pieces of equipment, we made that up in the final presentation, so if you need it, please let me know.
If you could email that to me, I'd love it.
Yeah, that was my next question, was can we just see a list of the expenditures of What's the bottom line? What number figure did you come up with for that we would see? $10,000 expenditure, we would see it?
No, you were seeing all of them.
Okay.
I missed the question, I'm sorry.
On the list that was prepared and passed out earlier, everything that made up that 403 is on there, correct?
Correct. But I'll email that
I
out.
wish there was a number that was under 10,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there going to be any expenditure, I'm sorry, is there any expenditures in the technology fund this year?
There, we have budgeted for, 5,000 for, computer replacements.
Okay.
The REIT 1 and 2 funds, again, these are the real estate excise tax funds. They're restricted for use, so what we typically use them for are bond payments, and then our pavement management program.
And Jen, before you move on there, just wanted to comment, you know, the REIT funds 1 and 2 are generally the same in terms of their restrictions. They're used for capital. They can be used for all sorts of different types of capital. Communities, based on their prioritization policy, use it for different things. We're kind of locking down these two funds to ensure that we're leveraged to take care of the debt service on the downtown revitalization. It's a unique sort of repayment scenario where there's kind of interest only for several years, and then a big principal payment, then back to just interest payments, then another big principal payment. They're too young to refinance. So we've kind of projected out that the revenues, and we're being very conservative in what we might get because it's a function of real estate transactions, as you know, are way down right now. It looks like they will barely survive that debt service moving into the future. So that's why you don't see, other than a modest pavement management program, which is to make sure that, you know, our streets can be maintained to some extent. No initiatives, if you would, on the capital side out of those funds, which is what the legislature intended for those. It's kind of disappointing, but until we can do something different with that debt service, I think it's prudent for us to identify the revenue that's going to pay for it, and this is the area where we're going to. So we'll do our best to try to slow that debt service down and try to leverage REIT funds for capital in the future if we can.
So as you look through your packets, you may pick up on the fact that REIT 1 and 2 have some substantial ending fund balances. It's an easy connection to say, can't we use those to do something else? We really can't, because we're stockpiling that money basically to make that big principal payment that's going to do.
The park impact fee fund, again, these are restricted revenues that are also part of real estate transactions for improving parks when new developments move in and those sorts of things. So we have identified several projects to be funded with funds, and if we don't use them within 6 years?
6 years.
6 years from collection, we do have to itemize those funds back to the property owners. So it's important to update, you know, and use them for their intended purpose to provide those services for the citizens in those areas.
We can use park impact fees for the halfway home launch. I mean, that's permissible use.
New information,
When you're looking into it,
because
it's
it's a replacement